Hey Trent, I just think we've had a lot of conversation on social media and other platforms about the new traffic circle over on Pearland Parkway and McCard Road. So I thought, well, maybe we could head over there, show and demonstrate really how the circle works at ground level. And at the same time, maybe we can ask and answer a few questions along the way.
That'd be great. Show everybody how it works.
You know, even here in Pearland, we've had the previous circle. It was a different configuration. So do you know roughly when the traffic circle, the previous traffic circle was built?
Yeah, so it was built in the early 2000s when Pearland Parkway was first being built.
Okay, and I think that was all in partnership with maybe the developer and builder over there for Lakes of Highland Glen. And I recall, you know, when it first opened, kind of like this redo, the redo of the configuration, a lot of people really didn't like it. And I think that stems mainly from people just not being used to going through them. So it's something abnormal.
Something new, something they're not familiar with.
Right, and so, you know, traffic circles were built and have been built for years to have that continuous flow of traffic, so you don't really have to stop. And 20 or so years ago, when the previous traffic circle was built, there was far less traffic than we have today. So traffic circle was there to keep people continually moving through, you know, that area. So one of the big questions that I get hit with all the time, Trent, is why are we changing this? I've never seen an accident in the traffic circle. And so we know some of the statistics. So how many accidents would you say in the last 10 years have occurred in the circle?
Yeah, so somewhere in the 200 range over that time period.
Yeah, so that's a significant amount of accidents in one location over a certain period of time. So then people are saying, okay, why are we changing? They may understand more and more accidents, but why would we be changing to this configuration of the traffic circle and not just leave it alone?
Sure. So, I mean, you go back to the accidents one, and that the configuration here is more of a traditional roundabout. It'll slow traffic down more. As it currently is, you know, whether you yield or not depends on which side you're coming into the traffic circle. Whereas a traditional traffic circle, which is what it's been converted to, you yield to enter the circle. So it's consistent from whichever way you're coming from.
Okay.
In addition to that, we have seen the increased volume of traffic that you mentioned, and we have McCard Road, which is under construction to connect from McCowell all the way over to Cullen. That'll be open by the end of this year. That is going to put a lot more traffic into the traffic circle. And when we knew that project was going to go underway, and we were looking at the accidents in the traffic circle, we did some traffic modeling and looked at how that additional traffic is going to interact there. And it was, as it was configured, we were really going to see some backups during rush hour traffic, and the ability for people to get into that traffic circle and make the maneuvers they needed to get where they were going were going to be difficult and probably exacerbate the issues with accidents.
Wow, so actually, if you really think about it, what I heard you say was this is an instance where the city itself is actually doing some forward planning. So instead of waiting until the problem is bigger and bigger, we know that there's a problem coming. We've done our own studies. We know with McCard Road opening up, more and more traffic will be put into the circle. So let's plan ahead and try to get out in front of that. You know, and I hear people all the time, I wish the city would plan better. And I think this is an instance where the city has planned better. While on the face, it might not look like it, but there's really a lot of planning that's gone into it. I think that's a big consideration because a lot of people use, like for example, right now we're traveling on Pearland Parkway headed north. We're going to go into the traffic circle here in a minute, but a lot of people just go right on through to go Pearland Parkway to the Beltway, and if we put in a T intersection, those people would be forced to stop. Whereas under this scenario, they don't.
That's right.
So again, it keeps that continuous flow of traffic moving. Now, albeit they may need to slow down. So now, for people watching this, we've been going the speed limit 45 miles an hour. We're coming up on Pearland Parkway at McCard. The sign says you slow down to 25 miles per hour as you go into it. So we're going to go into the circle. We're going to make the circle around. We're going to come out on Pearland Parkway here to the left of us. So I hit the yield. There's no one coming. I move over. I actually have the right of way, but I'm going to make sure that people are there. We move over to McCard Road and we move through. So that's really and truly how this is designed to work, and meshing traffic together and everybody going their separate ways. So now we'll go down and we'll turn around. We'll come back through it and we're going to go Pearland Parkway North. So Trent, how was this funded? How did we go through and fund this?
Sure. So as we developed the project and saw the need for this, it was included in the 2019 bond package in the road improvement portion of that, and it was approved by the voters, and we moved forward with it. So
this was something the voters actually went to the polls and said, yes, go and do. And I know there were several road projects in that package, but overall it was there.
Yes, at that time we'd gone through some preliminary engineering. We had schematic drawings of conceptually what this would look like and how it would function, and it was available at the time. I think we identified it probably in about the 2016 time frame, started working on the preliminary work, introduced it to the CIP probably in the 2016, 2017. Those years, and then as an unfunded project, and then it was identified as a priority in that 2019 bond package.
So things really go through a process. We don't just wake up one day and say, hey, let's just send this to the voters, here's the project, and off we go to the voters. It actually goes through a process, and it's a lengthy process. As you said, somewhere in the 2016, it was another 3 years before it was actually on the bond program. Here we are in 2022 finishing it up. So, that's 6 years from going into the CIP to completion of a project. And you and I both know, and we'll laugh a little bit about this, that's actually quick.
That's pretty quick for delivering a project.
Right. So as you know, we've just gone through the traffic circle. We're on Pearland Parkway. We're going to turn back around, and a lot of traffic comes every day from the Beltway down to Broadway on Pearland Parkway. So we're going to take that track. I think all in all, it's a pretty efficient way of doing our traffic. Is it perfect? No, neither is a traffic signal. That's not perfect. People have a tendency to run those or get out in traffic or T-bone, and that leads to problems as well. So here we go, heading north. And just by the way, people that, when you see this, we're doing this at 4:40 in the afternoon. So this is part of going home traffic. This isn't, we didn't cherry pick a time. We came in the early stages of going home traffic. So this is a peak demand time. We're coming up on it. We have a yield sign, so we're going to yield. There's no one coming, so we're going to go straight. We're staying in our lane. I'm doing this at about 15 to 17 miles an hour. We're going through, and as you can see, we'll come out and merge on with the traffic that's coming from McCard Road to Pearland Parkway.
Yeah, the old circle is a lot larger. You were able to carry a lot more speed through that, and so this one really brings you down into more of a traditional roundabout, slower speeds, and so that if there are accidents, they're at a much lower speed, more of a glancing blow, and that's even an improvement over what you see at traffic signals, where a lot of your accidents are rear ends or T-bones that are much more injuries occur in those than glancing blows.
Yeah, I was going to say, not that anybody wants to have an accident or we want to have any accidents, but certainly we like to design things where we take away the head-on and we take away the side impact, because those lead to more actual physical damage of vehicles, and it has a human cost as well.
Right.
Okay. The Parkway moves a lot of traffic. Trent, do you know roughly how many cars a day are on the Parkway? And that's going to be a guesstimate because it changes every day.
Sure. I think for this segment of the park of the Parkway, the numbers we see are probably in the 30,000 cars per day. That's probably grown since the last time I looked at numbers, and will continue to grow.
Right.
So it carries a lot of traffic.
So it's important that we move traffic smoothly and efficiently, and with an eye on safety.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for the opportunity to kind of help educate and bring this project to life and let people see how it works. And as always, when you're on the road, just be safe, be cautious, drive hands-free, and just be safe. And we thank you, as always, we thank you for being attentive to our city pages and all of our projects. So thank you.